guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things mundane and makeup related. If that's your vibe, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to be part of my little slice of the internet. And in today's video, I'm bringing you my August palette roundup. So if you want to know all of the palettes that I used this month, where they place, and everything in between, then let's go ahead and just get on into it. So the way I do my palette roundups now is based on Gen Beauty. I was doing a 4-tier list, just how she does, but I'm actually going to drop it down to 3 tiers because I just don't see the point in doing the 4 just for how I do my collection. So I'm going to keep it basically trash, which is things that are either garbage, declutters, all of the above. Then we have It's Okay But, which are items that are basically anything that's not a holy grail, either palettes that I've only used one time, items that I need more time with, things that are going to be on my chopping block. So it's going to be a bigger category, but I'm going to have a lot of reasoning. And then we'll have a holy grail, which is holy grail. So yeah, if you want to see all these palettes, I only have one that I no longer have in my collection anymore, so you'll see a photo of that, which will be the first palette we talk about. And then let's just get started. Let me get a drink of my coffee for all the talking. And the very first palette, just to get that out of the way, is the Charlotte Tilbury Queen of Luck palette. So this is all, these 2 palettes will be in my basically trash category because they're declutters. I decluttered that palette because I did a comparing palettes. I compared that to the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm. So they were very similar. They both had a duochrome in it, and I just preferred the look that the I Need a Warm gave me. So I decluttered that palette. It's not that it was a bad palette, but I just don't like quads. They're too small, and it's just, it wasn't, quads are not for me. 9 pans are as small as I realistically want to go in my collection. So it was very pretty, and I did like the color story, but it just, it was okay for it to go. I have those colors in my collection still. And the other palette is from Glamlight, and it is the Betty Boop Oop a Doop palette. I hate the name of this. I got this because Glamlight said that this shimmer formula was a different shimmer formula for them. It is an iridescent, and I would agree that it is. It is a different formula, but I compared this to my Jeffree Star Weirdo palette, which you'll see later in the ranking as well, and this was the closest comparing palettes I've ever had. It was a spot-on dupe. The only thing that would be slightly different is the shimmer formula, which would be the only thing I would keep this for, and I just don't see the point. The only shimmer that I absolutely love out of this palette is this one right here. It's the most sparkly. It's called Classy Chic. All the rest are really, like, I really also like this one, which is Ooh La La. But I just like that one for the color. This one's the most sparkly. But I just don't need this big of a palette because Glamlight palettes are just big. And I don't have a connection to Betty Boop to need to keep this palette. So I have my Weirdo palette. I love my Weirdo palette. So I just don't need to keep this. So that is a-okay with me. So those are my 2 declutter palettes for the month. Now let's move into It's Okay But. Alright, so I have quite a few palettes here, which I didn't even tell you how many palettes I had total this month. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 palettes this month. Not the most, but not the least. So we'll start with the palette that's on my eyes today. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Zendo. I used this palette twice this month, and I really like this. It's such a unique color story, but the first time I used it, I only used these 2 shimmers, and then today I used everything but the silver, and I just really like it. It's a unique color story. It's really good Natasha Denona quality. I think that it's beautiful. I don't think it could be a holy grail, just because it's not the best Natasha Denona palette I've ever used. But who knows, you know, I've also only used the whole palette one time, which is why it's in my It's Okay But. Because if I've only used the palette a total of really one time, I can't really give it a fair holy grail status in my humble opinion. So, but it is on my eyes today and I do really like it. I do have a single shadow on my inner corner, but then my other Natasha Denona mini, this is the Mini Gloom, which I've also used twice this month. I don't like this one nearly as much. I wish it had more depth. Like, you would think that this goes pretty deep, but it really doesn't. And I don't love the inclusion of the pink. I think we could have done another matte, to be honest, which I don't normally say that in Natasha Denona palettes. But I kind of wish this one had another matte in it. So, that's just me. Then we have my Glam Light Chocolate Martini palette. This is in a project. I have to use 5 shades in it. It's this shimmer and this shimmer, this matte, and this matte. I have to use them 5 times each. So I've used them all once, and it creates a very stunning look. This palette was actually on my chopping block, so I really liked that I used it. It is just a neutral palette, but I did really enjoy it. It was a really nice formula. The mattes blended out really pretty. This matte All Night has like a purpley tinge, so it goes with that purple shimmer really nicely, and I thought it was really beautiful. So you're going to be seeing that next month as well, most likely. So let me get my paper back in there and put that guy back. Next, from Glam Light as well, I have my Michaela palette. This was also on my chopping block, and I decided to keep it. I did my Cosmo and Wanda look with this, so I used the greens, the pinks, and a couple purples. And this was the Glam Light formula that I know and love. This is now the biggest palette in my collection, which is one of the reasons it was on my chopping block. It was also on my chopping block because I don't like Michaela as a creator. So I just didn't feel the need to want to keep it, but I do think the color story is really pretty. I do think we have some redundancy in the neutrals, but I love the colors. The greens and the yellows, the pinks, the purples, the blue, like, it's just beautiful. And I love Glam Light's shimmer formula, like, and I do love the packaging. I love the gems in here, the glitter. I think it's really pretty. So I did enjoy this. I think it was nice. So, overall, I am keeping it. Will I keep it forever? Probably not, but I'm going to keep it for now, and that is still good enough for me. Then we have my Clarity Cosmetics Bougie Bitch palette. This was the June Mystery Box palette. This surprised me. This is the best Clarity Cosmetics palette I've ever used. I swear. It feels like there's a hair on my face, but I know there's not. I'm just itchy. This turned out so pretty. I did more of a pinky purple look, I believe, if I remember correctly. Then I did I used the purples and not the peaches. And this shade is to die for. So stunning. Love the, marbled effect of it, but very excited to have that. Because I've had other Clarity Cosmetics palettes that I didn't enjoy as much, so very happy that that one worked out. So now this one is a little bit of a change up from what it originally looked like. I depotted my my Jeffree Star cremated palette. So I now have a 9 pan. Because these are the only 9 shades I liked. I actually also have 2 more shades from the palette that I threw in my singles, because I just also liked those 2 shades, but this is the 9 pan that I curated, because I had a Jeffree Star singles palette, because I just did not like the entire cremated palette. I only ended up using, out of this 9 pan, I used Diamond Ashes and Life Insurance. I did end up using a couple other shades from the palette itself, but I've already thrown the actual palette away. I didn't like that the palette had his giant face on it. I didn't think that we needed a whole palette of grays and blacks. it had a black. It was grays with like brownie grays. So I definitely already much prefer that I have this more condensed color story of this because I love the formula of Jeffree Star shadows. We just didn't need a 24 pan of this color story. At least I didn't. So then I have my Nomad Haunted Europe palette, which looks like this. So this is in It's Okay, but I have two complaints, which I've complained about, I think, in multiple videos now. We did not need these two golds. They are different, but you can't really see that difference on the eyes. This gold is slightly deeper, but they're just not that much of a difference. And then this is a satin shade purple. It's got a black base, but it's just not very good. I do not like that shade at all. It is a dud in my humble opinion. I will be getting the Salem new palette, and I'm very excited to pair these two together because I think the color stories will go hand in hand. But very excited. So we have my Unearthly Shadow Sculpt. This was stunning. I stayed to this bottom row. I still need to use this top one. And it just created the most icky, like, toxic green look that was so beautiful. Could have died. Loved it so much. It's not even funny. Just, mwah. The only reason it's in It's Okay But is because that was my first time using that palette. And I almost, just because I know how much I love Unearthly Formula, I almost put that in Holy Grail. Because it was so, it blew me out of the water. That might show up my Don't Be Jelly palette, which has historically been my favorite Unearthly palette since forever. And my last palette in It's Okay But is my version of the I Need a Warm from Natasha Denona. So this is what mine looks like now. This is not what it looked like when I did the Charlotte Tilbury comparing palettes. I rearranged this after that. This is what it looks like now. This is obviously my favorite shade. I love my addition of the peachy colors in here. But I think it looks pretty. I like how I've rearranged my palettes. I think they look nice. I like the quality so far in them. I used it 2 times in the month of August. And that is it for the It's Okay But. And let me grab out my few Holy Grail palettes. Alright, this was my Pan the Alphabet for letter C, so I had worked on this for a while. This is the Wicked Widow Lovesick palette, and as you can see, we have a beautiful pan. This is a spoiler, but you'll be seeing that in my video coming soon anyway. So, loved this. This palette was wonderful. I definitely want more from Wicked Widow. Then I have my Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette, my favorite Beauty Bay palette in my collection. Every time I look at this palette, I'm just so inspired, specifically by these greens, but the whole palette is just beautiful. This is the Beauty Bay palette, the Beauty Bay formula that I love so very, very much. So I'm always just thrilled to use it and see it in my collection. Then I have my Jeffree Star Weirdo palette. I am now working on 2 shades in different projects. I'm working on Glamour Shot to Hit Pan, and I'm working on Weirdo here for, I think, 12 uses. Yeah, sorry, this palette always messes with my lighting because of the red and the shimmer. But love this. It's my favorite Jeffree Star palette. So very happy to be working on it and having it in a project. So there's that guy. We have my Cosmic Beauty Serenity palette. I'm working on Opal for, I think, like 18 uses or something. This, I bought this for the August Bingo of Shame, I believe. And I bought it because, 1, I've heard just amazing things about Cosmic Beauty. 2, the Opal shade got me, and this Coral shade got me. And I have to say, I am not disappointed. This formula is beautiful. This color story is beautiful. I've pulled this in for a bunch of different things. And 10 out of 10. Love this so much. It's quickly become a holy grail. And last but certainly not least, I have my Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge. I can't believe they're finally bringing it back as the Sugar and Spite. This is what mine looks like because they are getting rid of, I think, a row of shades or just a couple shades. I don't remember. Maybe they're just, no, I think they're just rearranging this one. Don't quote me on anything. But I'm working on the shade Drew, which again, you'll see in my Pan the Alphabet project. Oh, the Jeffree Star Weirdo I used 8 times this month. And this guy I have used twice. And the Cosmic Beauty palette I used 5 times this month. So, yeah. Really, really love this. Or I used this 3 times this month. I've got to look at my chart better. But, love this palette. It's beautiful. It's not my favorite Blend Bunny palette out of the Blend Bunny palettes I have, but it's still really lovely, and I am enjoying working on it. So those are all the palettes that I worked on for the month of August. I hope you guys enjoyed. I always love bringing you these videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.